YouTube, chicks. Get ready. You know what to do, chicks.
Listen, Chick Smooth.
Hey, Chick Smooth. Appreciate all the coverage that you've been doing. I've been watching your shit for a while. I just subscribed to your shit too, bro.
Now this is where the fun officially begins. For those of you guys that have been itching for a Joe Budden versus Taxstone beef again, this gotta feel like Christmas to you guys right now. Now earlier in the week, I told you guys Taxstone has been talking about Joe Budden and the podcast crew on his Twitter spaces. Looks like Taxstone has teamed up with Rocky to try to bring back its podcast tax season. And yes, he's doing all this while he's locked up in prison. Listen, man, you gotta give it up to him for the dedication. Tax is a guy that loves to talk. He never stopped tweeting even while he was locked up. So now that he's aware of Twitter spaces, he's gonna try to turn it into his podcast. And the best part is you can get on there and talk shit for hours. So for Tax that's currently locked up and doing his time, this is the perfect medium for him. Now, you can't have a good podcast going without having a good rollout. After calling out Joe for trash talking Combat Jack, rest in peace, and also claiming that Joe hired QueenzFlip because he owed Webb and Nitty a favor, Joe put out some tweets over the weekend, but today on the podcast, Joe actually addresses Taxstone and those rumors. Now, I told you guys in that same video, the only way this works is if Joe actually takes the bait and responds to Tax on the podcast. Well, Joe actually did respond to Tax, and here's what he said back.
They do the space and shit. They got the hateful Vengers, the We Hate Joe Vengers going on.
What's that?
It's a crew. It's a new crew. It's a new crew of Voltron that's forming, trying to get me out of here. A bunch of weak, lifeless losers. I'll address that also since you brought up Tax. There's a rumor out there that Flip is only up here. It ain't even a rumor out there. It's just Tax in that little tiny ass cell board and fucking talking on that little chirp shit. That Flip is only up here because of a favor that I owe to Webb and Nitty because they got me in a bad contract.
That is not true. Webb called me from jail about that. He didn't like that shit. That's not true.
Or they had me in a bad contract and I owed them a favor, so they called me and asked me to put Flip on the show. And when niggas just, if you just let stupidness just rock for a little bit, but me and him ain't talking, so now I gotta let the stupid shit rock.
Right.
I gotta let it rock for a little bit. But I don't even see how that makes sense. If I was in a bad contract, how would I owe a favor? Like, I would just do the favor for them niggas if they wanted that.
I've never heard you disrespect Combat Jack while I was up here.
That's never happened. Yo, these niggas just be lying.
So I don't know. I don't know where that's coming from. I've never heard.
It's all bullshit. Combat Jack is a legend to me. He is an icon to me. He was inspirational to me and
to everybody.
Taught me a lot. That's in spite of me not signing there. I just didn't sign over there. That's the only, and he wanted me to sign over there because I was amazing and he had the foresight to see it as head honcho in the field.
Do it bother you at all that a bunch of people come together to try to put smut on your name? Does that bother you at all?
Nah, I can't feel like that. Most of the people on that list of kicking my back in are people that I have genuinely helped. From my perspective anyway, they may say different, are people I've genuinely helped from like the bottom of my heart, and it's done well. It's been a great thing. Like a lot of these people don't know me well enough to speak to my character and speak to how I am personally or on a day-to-day basis. Niggas know each other casually. Like if we see each other in the spot, so there's been a bunch of niggas. I've seen Tax in real life 4 times. Like, what real conversation is there to have about who we are as a people? I'm grateful that the niggas that hate me are powerless bums. I've been in a position where the niggas that hated me were people in positions of power in these labels and these offices, and every move you tried to make, they blocked it. These people are just talking on audio apps, which they reserve the right to do. So I'm not ever angry at words. I'm not ever angry at words, and I can't be angry at the actions because the nigga that he sent over here, he didn't come back. He didn't come back for more. So I mean, what you gonna do?
Now, this is where we get to see Taxstone turn up a little bit and turn Super Saiyan. I don't think he's gonna take too kindly to Joe calling him a weak, lifeless loser and also calling him a broke bum. He's already sent a message to Joe last year telling him, yo, I can still get you touched even though I'm locked up behind bars. You guys remember that whole strip club incident that happened with Joe last year? So now that he got the response he wanted from Joe, it's now basically a free-for-all for him. Especially having Rocky on his side who does the podcast podcast with him as well. Rocky is somebody that was in Joe's circle years ago. I'm sure she knows a lot of dirt about Joe. She's been itching to expose him. It would not surprise me if their first 20 episodes is basically a documentary style exposing Joe. And a lot of you guys said in that video, Joe should just ignore Tax. Silence is the best answer to give him at this point. But unfortunately, this is Joe. Joe loves messy stuff. He's usually calculated when he responds to people on the podcast, so I think he knows what's coming his way. You guys get in the comments below. Let me know your thoughts on what Joe said to Taxstone. Post your comments below. Subscribe to my channel, like this video. I'll see you guys later, man.